Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Ethereum is breaking to the downside, but we have not seen much confirmation here. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, and I'll be including Cardano towards the end of this video. So definitely stick around to the end so that you don't miss out on any of this important information. And just before we jump into it, you might as well leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight to what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Ethereum $0 chart on the 2-hour time frame, and this is that symmetrical triangle pattern, also known as a horizontal triangle pattern, that I was talking about yesterday on the channel. The resistance line for this pattern was coming in at around 3,350, and the support line was coming in at pretty much exactly 3.3k. And since that Ethereum video yesterday, obviously the price of Ethereum has broken below that line of support, which technically does mean that we are breaking to the downside from this pattern. But with that being said, we have not seen much confirmation here. For example, the volume for Ethereum is still remaining at very low levels, and it's not like we've seen a retest of that previous level of support to flip it into new resistance. So those are the type of things that I'm going to be paying attention to moving forward, because if we don't really see those things, for example, if we remain on low volume, then that creates the risk of this turning into a fake out, meaning that we could swing back to the upside while there's very low volume, because on low volume, it's easier to manipulate the price of Ethereum, for example, because in most cases, the lower the volume, the less liquidity, which means you don't need as much money to move around the price of a certain asset compared to when we're seeing very high volume. We need a lot of money in the markets to move the price. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. But if we do see some more confirmation here, for example, more volume, then the technical price target to the downside is coming in close to 2.9k, which is where this previous low is coming into play. So we have already confirmed that level as support. And also here on the daily time frame for Ethereum, that is where the golden pocket, the most important Fibonacci level, is beginning. But it is important to mention that just because that's a technical price target and a major level of support, it still doesn't guarantee that we are going down to those prices again, especially in the lack of confirmation that we have seen, as I was just talking about. And while we're here on the daily time frame, I'll just quickly mention for anyone new to the channel, a little over a week ago, the daily RSI for Ethereum entered into oversold territories for the first time in nearly 2 years. The last time the Ethereum RSI on the daily time frame did that was back in the March 2020 crash, and obviously that was an amazing buying opportunity. The next best buying opportunity was something like what we saw in June and July, where the RSI came really close to oversold territories, but we didn't quite get there. And not only that, looking in the daily MACD, right now we are still in negative territories, and the last few times that we were in negative territories in the daily MACD was back at the end of September, and also back during June and July last year. And obviously they all turned out to be amazing buying opportunities if you're holding for at least the next few months or so. So with that being said, my Ethereum strategy remains the same. I'm simply dollar cost averaging into Ethereum and holding for at least the next few months. Now zooming back in a little bit into the 4-hour time frame for Ethereum, just to take a look at this cup and handle pattern that we have been talking about over the past 1 to 2 days. And you can clearly see that this pattern never actually confirmed, because of course we needed to see a break above this line of resistance, which was coming in at just underneath 3.4k. And so because we never saw a break above that point of resistance, we never actually confirmed this pattern and never activated the price target to the upside. Now, if Ethereum can somehow play out a very quick move back above this point of resistance, then this could possibly still play out, which by the way, the price target is towards 3.8k. But with that being said, if we continue on with this rejection to the downside, especially if that rejection lasts for even just the next 1 to 2 days, then in that case, it would be safe to say that this pattern is simply no longer playing out and it has fully been invalidated. Now giving you another update on Cardano, and over the past few days, it has been playing out some bullish price action. And in fact, if you're looking at the top 10 cryptos, even the top 20 cryptos, Cardano is the only one today, and really the only one over the past 1 to 2 days, that has been playing out some bullish price action in the middle of all of this bearish price action happening at the moment. And so because of that, there's now a lot of other YouTubers out there talking about Cardano and how it's looking bullish. But of course, if you're here on the channel around 3 days ago, I was letting you know that I was buying a lot of Cardano right down here, because in that video around 3 days ago, I basically said it's very likely we'll see some bullish price action soon for Cardano. And of course, we are playing that out right now. But how long will this bullish price action last for? Is there still an opportunity in Cardano right now? Well, first of all, what we have to realize is the price of Cardano is running into some short-term resistance, which is basically this previous high just here, coming in at around $1.55 to $1.60 approximately. So for now, there is a possibility that we could see a rejection from that point of resistance. But if Cardano can break above that previous high right there and finally form a new higher high on the chart, then obviously that would be extremely bullish for Cardano, and that would also be setting up this massive W pattern here on the daily chart, which is of course a bullish pattern, and that is coming after a bullish divergence that we have also seen. And this is also what I was talking about around 3 days ago on the channel. well. And on top of all of that, right now Cardano is still holding above this massive range of support, which is coming in closer towards around $1. Not only that, but if you're looking at the downtrends that Cardano has been in for quite a few months now, leading into this W pattern, this is all very similar to this previous price action, but that was almost everything that I was talking about in my last Cardano video around 3 days ago. For now, once again, we really need to wait for a break above this previous high in order to confirm this W pattern. And if that's the case, if Cardano can break into a new higher high here on the daily time frame, then the technical price target to the upside for Cardano is coming in at around $2.10, which from the point of the breakout to that price target is another 30% gain nearly. But keep in mind, we need to see a confirmed break above that point of resistance first, which is coming in at around $1.60, give or take. But if we're zooming into the 6-hour time frame for Cardano, what we could see here in the 6-hour RSI is the fact that we have entered into overbought territories, which means the price of Cardano in the shorter term is starting to get a little bit overheated. And honestly, I won't be surprised if we do see a bit of a short-term cool-off, because simply taking a look at some of the last times we entered into overbought territories here on the 6-hour time frame for Cardano, that was right back here, as you can see, and Cardano was pretty much topping out in the shorter term at that stage. Also back in the first half of November, we saw Cardano getting a little bit too overheated and we'll do for another cool-off. And this also ties into the fact that we are running into that previous high, which is acting as resistance. So if you're talking about the shorter term here for Cardano, honestly, I won't be surprised if we do end up seeing a bit of a short-term cool-off. But then, as I explained earlier, if we see a break above this point of resistance, that's when we'll flip much more bullish again for Cardano. Now, taking a quick look at Cardano versus Bitcoin here on the daily time frame, and right now we are also seeing some bullish price action on this chart, which for the beginners out there, this just means that Cardano is outperforming Bitcoin, and anytime this chart moves to the downside, that just means Cardano is underperforming against Bitcoin. And what I was pointing out on this chart around 3 days ago in my last Cardano video was the fact that we are seeing a major divergence here on the chart. As you can see, the price action was moving to the downside for quite a while, but during that same time period, the daily RSI was starting a new uptrend. Honestly, in my experience, a major divergence like this in the price and the RSI has proven to be one of the most reliable indicators. Of course, no indicator is 100% accurate, but personally, I have made a lot of money by simply buying when I'm seeing these major divergences. And I mean, you can clearly see how this is playing out already. But with that being said, looking in the daily RSI for Cardano versus Bitcoin, we are also entering into overbought territory. So if we do see a bit of a short-term cool-off here, honestly, I won't be surprised. And in my last Cardano video, I was comparing this price action to the price action that we saw back here. As you can see, we saw a lot of bearish price action back then, but looking in the daily RSI, we were starting an uptrend even though the price was going to the downside, which was a pretty reliable indicator that Cardano was beginning to reverse. But if you're looking at the first major reversal after all of that bearish price action, that was a fast spike to the upside that lasted for a few days or so, that brought the daily RSI into slightly overbought territories. But at that stage, we were due for a bit of a short-term cool-off, which actually brought us down to prices slightly lower than the previous lows back here. But because of that, that also created another major bullish divergence and sent the price of Cardano versus Bitcoin into a massive move to the upside in the following months. So those are the type of things that I'm looking out for right now. Basically, in the shorter term, I would not be surprised if we do see a bit of a short-term cool-off. So that could come in the form of a pullback to the downside or some sideways consolidation to basically cool off the RSI. But in terms of the larger trend for Cardano, these are the sort of signs that we see if the trend is beginning to reverse back to the upside. So if you're wanting to know my personal Cardano strategy, let's just say if I was in a leverage long position on Cardano, honestly, I would be at least moving my stop loss into profits, if not taking some profits out of that leverage long position. But the Cardano that I have accumulated on the spot market with no leverage, I am holding that for the longer term. And in fact, I am staking that Cardano right now to earn extra yield. And finally, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance here on the daily time frame. Over the past 1 day, we have seen a small bounce from this level of support coming in at around 39%. And as I've been explaining in a lot of recent Ethereum videos, if the Bitcoin dominance sees a further bounce to the upside, and especially if we start forming some new higher highs on the chart, then honestly, that would be a bearish signal for the altcoin market, because if that happens, the average altcoin would be underperforming against Bitcoin. But if we see a confirmed break below around 39%, and especially if we continue to see follow through to the downside, then that would be very bullish for the altcoins and likely trigger another altcoin season, or perhaps a continuation of this altcoin season that we have been in over the past few months. And if you want to receive extra updates in the market just like this, make sure you follow me over on my Twitter, and the link to my Twitter is in the description down below and also in the pinned comment. If you made it this far in the video, you might as well leave a like down below, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important updates that I post every single day. And also, for anyone new to the channel, channel, make sure you're checking out one of these uploads if you haven't already, because these videos can potentially help you make more money in the crypto markets. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.